Welcome back to episode 10 of the Homes Podcast. I'm Jerry. Here alongside with me is David Kellogg.
That's right.
And we're two realtors who interview all the professionals in the capital region. Today we have a special guest. I look at you as someone who's at the top of their game. Someone I embody to be like when I'm all said and done with this. Top producer, spoke at the summit. And I say she's the queen of Schenectady in regards to real estate. Christine Serafini.
Yep. Thank you. It's quite the title. I've heard of it before.
I know all your signs are all over Schenectady.
But I'm proud of it. 7 years ago, it was, where do I want to go with my business? I live in Schenectady. Who is the Schenectady realtor? I've lived here my whole life. It's time that someone is. And I just never looked back.
Wow.
And just really focused on that. I've done this for 21 years.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And you said the last 7 has been a rocket.
7, yeah. Actually, I'm going to say this is the 8th. 2016, my daughter graduated from high school, and it was time to do whatever I can. You can make whatever you want in real estate. You can be whatever you want in real estate. You can make as much as you want, as little as you want. I had 4 years of college coming up, and then my son was going to be 2 more added to that. So that my children and my family are my why.
Cool.
And a little success along the way for your own personal gratification is nice too.
Yeah.
yeah. So take us to year 1 in the business. How did you move? How did you maneuver to be able to catapult to where you're at today?
Year 1, we bought our house 21 years ago. My husband and I, Willie Miranda, was our realtor. And I remembered Willie from high school. I found him online. He was one of the only agents that was online. I had my AOL email.
That's funny.
And
was he on Facebook?
He was. We didn't.
exist?
We
Did it
didn't.
exist
No,
like
we
that?
didn't even have it. This is 2003.
Yeah.
Okay.
This
All right.
is pre-Jerry.
So, okay.
This is like,
Pre-Jerry.
yeah.
Okay.
This is
Yeah.
like
MySpace?
someone has a website.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
okay.
Willie had a program guaranteed to sell your house. If not, I'll buy it. And we didn't have that, but I found him, and I go, I recognize his name. He went to Pleasant. I went to Linton, and he found our house. And he asked me at the end of the transaction, have you ever thought of real estate? I said, no. And when we closed on the sale, I could never stop thinking about it.
Cool.
So I went and got my license with my sister. I worked full-time at GE. I had a really good job. I had 2 kids who were 4 and 2, and went to nights to get the license at Manfred. And part-time, my first year, I sold $2.3 million. And
Back in 2003.
yeah,
That's a killer number in 2003.
yep. Cool. And through till, 2012, it was up and down. But my dad passed in 2012. 2011 is when I took the leap, quit the jobs, and went full-time into real estate and said, actually, no, I have to take that back. 2015.
Wow.
My dad passed in 2012. I had been talking about it for years, but I'm afraid to. You have that comfort level of income.
Yep.
And then, oh my God, I'm going to do it. My husband supported me. I did it. When you're put in that position, you don't really have a choice. So you do what you need to do. You go to training, you learn, you meet people, you answer phones, you shake hands, and I never looked back.
That's amazing.
Cool.
I mean, you hear a story where, you have a family, you're trying to balance work, family, and at the end of all that, life is still happening, So the fact that you were able to stay afloat and say, okay, this is the jump I'm going to commit. I mean, you already showed success doing it part-time. I mean, full-time, you probably killed it once you made the jump.
It was scary. But Willie, I will say Willie Miranda, my broker, Miranda Real Estate Group. I've been with a couple other agencies through my career, but the most number of years and even the last 8 have been with Miranda Real Estate Group. I couldn't do it without the support. I really couldn't. He's a great mentor. He's a great coach. This isn't, about him, but I wouldn't be able to do it without the mindset that he gave me. Also, my daughter played softball. My son played baseball. My husband was a coach. My daughter played collegiate ball, Division II. This career gave me the flexibility of being able to not miss a lot of that.
Yeah.
But when you're not going to the games, you're working harder because you need that time to go to the games. So strict time management.
Yep. So for me, flexibility is a big piece. I asked my wife maybe 6-8 months ago. I now have a 3-month-old baby, so this is towards the end of pregnancy, and I said, hey, if I gave up every night and weekend, and you just didn't see me, that wasn't part of family life, but I could put another $50,000 to $100,000 in the bank a year, would it be worth it? And the answer was no. It was great because I like the ability to say yes or no and say, look, I can work hard and I can be home most of the time, but there's going to be, unfortunately, sacrifices on time and family. But, given the option, I said, let's make this a family decision. So, like I was a union millwright before, and I could have made $125,000, $150,000, but I would literally be home maybe 1 or 2 months a year, because the nuclear circuit was all about overtime and out of state, and you just follow the money.
Just follow the money.
You close one, you get 24-hour travel time, and the next nuke would start. They shut down based on when the next one ends. So, and most of the people in that field had been divorced 3 times. And that's not what I wanted. So it was great when my wife said, hey, I like the flexibility. I like you here. So when other people tell me that, that's awesome. But I also know you banged out 107 deals February, because I saw your speech at the summit. I know it wasn't calendar year, but I think you said February to February.
I did, because I was trying to do a calendar year, but I did have pendings. But that was a goal.
Yeah,
and you have to have goals. You really have to have goals,
Yeah.
because goals are going to push you to succeed. And if you're falling short, what can I do in Mastermind to get there?
Yeah.
What do I need to do? Whether you're doing it yourself, maybe going to your broker, maybe going to a coach. Where can I go? Where can I dig for this?
So I want to ask a question. 107 deals, you still go to a coach?
I just actually involved myself in coaching professionally this year.
So I want
And I'm an independent agent.
I want everyone listening to know that you can be top of the game and sharpen your toolbox. Sharpen the pencil, sharpen the axe, whatever you want, whatever you want to compare it to. You can be top and still get better. And that's awesome.
Oh,
That's a
there's
gem.
always room. There's always lessons learned. Every real estate, this is the fun thing. It's always evolving.
Yep.
Your deals, there's always something else you have to offer to either a seller or help a buyer get that house that they want.
Sure.
You're always spinning your wheels in a good way, though.
I think you can be nervous about it, but we're all people. So it's always like when you pick up the phone or you say, hey, I got to call this agent. I've asked people, I probably asked you, I can't do better on the price. What other things outside of price would be useful? Do you want a 21-day close? Can you pull title today and we can get it to 14? Tell me what off of dollar amount can we make a difference?
I ask that question every time.
And I get told, no, we're here for the dollar. I say, I get it. I'll shoot the dart at the board, but it's an open conversation. And there's, we have a 4 or 6 or whatever page contract now. It changes, whatever. It's going to change again. It's
Ever
going to change
evolving,
again. But it's like, besides what I can put here, show me what matters to your seller and let's see what we can do.
Yeah.
And
I think that's the biggest thing. Every time I'm on the way to show a house, it's at that moment I'm calling the listing agent, introducing myself. We're super excited to see the property. I have the disclosures. Just a question, how old's the furnace? Just a couple things our disclosures don't tell us, because as I walk around, I love leveraging the information. And then what's most important to your seller?
Yep.
Is it money? Is it bottom line? Or is it terms? Is it closing date? Is it something they're worried about in inspections? Should we pay attention to? Is it emotional? Or is it just transactional? That's going to move you to your buyer a little bit more to say, listen, at the end of the day, it's the bottom line. We need to think about what the best price is you're willing to give the seller, and are you able to do that?
Yep. Or are you able to bring in a home inspector today pre-offer because they want to know what's going to happen?
Great thing to do to accommodate with a buyer right now. Do you have, not dad necessarily?
Yeah. Well, that's a reference to my dad from last episode.
Your dad and the home inspector.
Yeah.
But do we want to bring in like a licensed contractor? Do you want to be able to make that informed decision right away that you feel success? And the other thing is you can leverage your inspection contingency, right? Do we want to raise the threshold?
Yep.
$2,000 doesn't get us much anymore.
It gets like 3 windows.
Yeah.
It gets like 3 windows. It's like changing the oil in a car now. It doesn't go very far.
But
it doesn't.
it can make an impression on the seller
Sure.
Say, you know what? They're willing to pay up to $5,000 in major repairs or replacements to have this home.
Yeah.
And I think having a good relationship with that listing agent is key. Playing nice in the playground means a lot and helps both sides work better together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I appreciate your story. I mean, when I listen to you, I hear a lot of things you say. Like, just it's a hustle, mentality, and mentality and mental fortitude is what stuck to me. How are you every day? You know, this business beats you up and down and takes a toll on you. How do you stay composed through it all? What do you do to, I guess, de-stress or take it in?
I love real estate. I ask, 3 things I do every day in the morning: prospect, farming, and marketing. Has to happen. It's not always necessarily an hour a day or an hour each segment, but I have to win the day in the morning. And if I don't, I'm spinning my wheels. I do multiple transactions right now. I have 24 pending. It's a lot to handle. I'm not gloating, but someone else needs my A game today. And who am I going to give it to? I have that sticky in my office. Who needs my A game today? A buyer is struggling, losing on multiple offers. I'm not saying I'm out there stepping on toes of other buyer agents, but they're trying to do it themselves. Who needs to hear a message from me? What seller thinks they can't sell because they think interest rates are high? That's so wrong. Affordability is still here. It's all about the monthly payment. Let's stop talking about rates. And my downtime, honestly, it's just my husband and I at home. We like to travel. This past March, I think I did 16 transactions. I was away for 2 weeks. Wow. I surround myself. I don't have a team, but with people that want to work together, help each other out, and have camaraderie, it works very well in our company. What I do, so typical night, last night, the big game, right?
Yeah.
Watch the big
National
game.
Championship game.
Yep. Oh, love it. The girls and the boys, but watched the game last night. But I sat with my laptop on my lap and I created my Canva presentation for my seller seminar on Saturday. And I'm good with that. I don't ever, and I hope people don't take this the wrong way. Real estate's my job, but it's my hobby. I like it. I surround myself with, whether it's local or national, it keeps me informed and keeps my dialogue strong. And people need that A game. People need that A game. And I love doing that for community. Community is very important to me. The city is important to me. Schenectady County is important to me. Have I said, I want to step out, and I can sell anywhere in the Capital District, but my center is the city and county. And it means a lot to me because I love it. Like you say, you see signs all over the place. I'm like, I only have 2 listings right now. But I make branding very important. I talk, I do little social media things. I think if you're consistent with your activities, you're going to create that branding yourself.
Look at that.
With your message.
Sometimes I say, let me close the laptop after 6 and not take some time for myself, or open it back up later in the night. But look at that. Sometimes when you're sleeping, someone else is working harder. And in this business, sometimes you don't always see face. You always see emails or text messages or calls.
Right.
But when you see someone else's hustle, it makes you even hustle harder.
That does make inspiration. Some people are like, oh, God, she just works 24/7. She has no life.
Exactly.
I have a life. I love my life. It's beautiful. Is it hard at times? Yes. I have a marriage. It'll be 27 years.
Congratulations.
I'm very happy. And that's one thing you mentioned, that balancing the activities and the time away, or working evenings or working during the day. This was not going to take my marriage away. And it wasn't going to take me away from being a parent.
No, I appreciate that. We mentioned goals a couple of times. Can we talk about goals?
Yeah.
Jerry, what's your goal for transactions or dollar amount? Let me ask you this. As a real estate agent, what goals do you have, and how did you make that your goal?
So last year, I like how Christine said she penned this quarter or last quarter 24 deals. I
have 24 pending now.
I did 27 all last year.
And that's amazing.
24 in one quarter is...
The average agent does 8 a year. So you're beating it. You're 3 times that.
But there's so much room to grow. I need to catch up to you. 24 and a quarter? We should be there. I'm just kidding.
Well, but that didn't answer the question.
No,
you're
but
a question dodger.
yes.
Here. Come on, give me
So,
something here.
with that being said, I saw the jump I made that last year, doing 27 deals in the year. This year, I have 40 in transactions
That's your
to
goal.
clear off this year. Yeah.
It's a banging goal. Now, do you have a dollar amount? Do you want to say like you want to work with half investors, half, and like or is it just however it gets done? 40 is my benchmark.
Yeah. I'm a hustler just like Christine. I like to just be able to help as many people as I can. So this year, whether it's more sellers or more buyers, it doesn't matter. It's just providing the service I can. But yeah, seeing that last year, being able to do 27, I mean, more time into the industry. I mean, you get more, you get what you put in.
So what was that growth from the previous year? You were at 27. What was the growth?
It was
What'd
I
you do the year
did
before.
I think I did like 8 or 11.
Dude,
Oh, so you're growing up.
that's incredible growth.
Yeah.
Dude, that's incredible good work.
That's
I
amazing.
appreciate it. Thank
That's
you.
three
Thank you.
times. That's 3 times the business. Where
Yeah.
can you do that? Do you get 3 times your salary raise in a regular job? This is what I'm saying. You can make real estate anything you want it to be.
Yeah.
I did a real good job, boss. I'd like a bonus at 2 times my average salary. I'm like, no. So, Christine, what goals do you have for this year?
This year, compared to last year, I did 17.8 million. This year is 20 million, 65 transactions. I wanted to raise my dollar per transaction, which we're seeing as prices increase. That becomes a little bit easier because we have such great value. But I want to hit 20 million.
That's a cool number.
I have not been there yet.
I just saw you visualize and focus on that number.
Yes.
I'm positive
Yes.
you just saw 20 million in your mind.
50% buyers, 50% sellers, and from that, how am I getting there?
Yep.
It's good to go back and say, you want 40 deals? What do you want buyers and sellers? And buyers, how do you want to get there? What are your activities? Really focusing on those activities.
Yep.
We've had some noise this year. We've got to adapt at the same time and staying in line with our goals.
Exactly. So diving deeper into your activities, what are you doing specifically, if you want to share, in order to prospect for sellers and buyers?
Selling seminars, buyer seminars, social media. I am not always posting just listed and just sold, although I want to talk about successes. I want to do that. I am saying this morning, who needs to hear me and what message do I want to give? Is it a buyer? Is it a seller? Is something just happen at an open house where I want to just scream the success or scream, it's not about the rate. It's about affordability. And sellers, let's talk about your next move. You have the most equity ever right now.
Mm-hmm.
What are we going to do to leverage that into your next move? For buyers, it's educating them on the process. It's educating them on how to handle multiple offer situations, how to understand that it isn't about the rate. It's about, what do you want to pay monthly? Let's talk about your monthly payment. What are you comfortable with? And let's just not go with, I'm pre-approved for $400,000. Well, do you know what that means with $8,000 taxes? Do you know what that monthly payment is? Bet you don't.
A lot of money.
Yeah, so really educating, giving people, again, who needs my A game? And I am not all A all the time, but someone needs to hear something that's of value. Every day, people are going to buy and sell.
Yeah.
Every day. And I think I also have a very strong database. I use a CRM called Follow Up Boss. I have 4,500 people in there. I have 263 buyers identified. I'm not out with 263 buyers.
I hope not.
But no. Maybe I'm out with 5 to 10 at a time. But they're tagged a buyer. I know what they're looking for, and newsletter goes out electronically. I send out weekly emails, just information, public information, and I share personal. But I'm always talking to my database. That's where my business becomes very referral based. Oh, Christine just sent me this email. She's got this new listing in her newsletter. And then I get a call. I see that you have this, it just happens organically. Yeah.
So I started doing Dave's faves, right? And I want to do a single family, a multi-family, a fixer-up project, and maybe a piece of land. And I did that once, and I got to identify a couple more. Because it's something I want to do like twice a month. I don't want to hammer people, but I want to be like, hey, look, this is cool.
Yeah, you don't want them to delete you.
But I just, like today, I'll share a quick success.
Yeah.
I forgot about this meeting,
Mhm.
even though it's every other week, and I thought today was Monday because
Yeah.
my kids had school off yesterday. I went to Gloversville because expensive Schenectady, prices are going way up. We just verbally took a $50,000 two-family home at $900 a floor. That's
Yep.
$1,800
Yep.
for $50K.
Mm-hmm.
If that were in Schenectady, it'd be $3,600. But what
Right.
price would you pay on a house to get $3,600 a month rent in Schenectady?
6 times that at least.
At least, yeah. You could be
Yeah.
300, 350.
Yeah.
So, in my mind, we just did 3 times the return.
Mm-hmm.
I mean-
And could probably buy 1 or 2 more.
I mean, it's only $50K,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it was a cash as is, no inspections. Like,
Mhm.
if you want to inspect, do it before your offer.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Yeah, we have to dig for those buyers.
Yeah,
That's the
Mhm.
other thing.
yeah.
If we're not finding it in our comfort zone or where they thought they might want to be, we have to think outside of the box
Mm-hmm.
because they may not be.
Well, the goal was to buy something that cash flowed with 1 unit taken, and I was like, well, if I can just cash flow without taking a unit, I can stay in my primary.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. If you're putting a house under property management and the check comes in the mail,
Mm-hmm.
that could be mailed from Schenectady
Mhm.
or Gloversville or the Moon.
That's right.
It does not matter if you're
Mhm.
willing to take the check instead of manage it yourself.
Mhm.
Who wants to drive an hour anyways to shovel a sidewalk?
Well, I did 3 virtual showings yesterday with people that live out of state. One's actually on vacation in Miami.
Do you use WhatsApp? Because I find WhatsApp has a good
I've
video quality.
I have used that for people out of the country, especially. Yeah,
Wow.
that works really well, especially when I was just on a cruise.
Yeah, the
like,
quality
on
is good.
WhatsApp.
the quality of what's not to plug a program, but quality of WhatsApp is pretty good video.
Oh, it's
have to
video,
try it.
it's picture. Oh, it's good. It's free.
Yeah.
That's
yep.
the other thing. It's free.
That's the most important part.
Yep.
No, it's a great tool, especially if you're on vacation.
Yeah.
Now, necessarily, we want to unplug, but I've got my certain control freak issues that I need to have. I want to be in touch.
As we all do.
Yeah,
It's not just
yeah,
you.
yeah. And they, you know what? Clients appreciate that you get time off too.
Yeah, I've had to say, like, look, man, I don't like working both weekend days. I prefer working one, and I prefer mornings because my kids don't really do much until 11 o'clock anyway. So if I can be out from 8 a.m. to 11, especially showing like fixer-uppers or stuff with no tenants,
Mm-hmm.
that's the goal.
And I
8
think if
a.m.
you
starts
set the
goal.
expectations with the clients,
Yep.
they're going to be fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's when you do answer the phone at 10 o'clock or you're emailing at 10 o'clock, she works all the time.
Yeah.
They're going to expect
Like,
that.
yeah.
But if you let them know these are the times, if we have something really going on that needs immediate action, obviously I'm going to reply.
Mm-hmm.
We have to set the expectations. We have to create our own schedule. We have to have family time. We have to have work time. We have to have lessons learned. What didn't work? Let's figure it out and let's change it up so we can be better.
That's true.
I honestly think real estate agents, obviously we get a bad rap. We're salespeople and we make all this money, right? We're not. We're in the service industry.
Yeah.
We are serving the public. We have a license that holds us responsible for doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's more important. And even more importantly, when COVID happened, that became more relevant. Who knew? I thought my career was over.
Really?
Oh, I called Willie. We had group Zoom meeting. It was more of a support group than anything. And I cried. I was like,
wow.
I have 18 pending.
Yeah.
What is my career is over. He's like, steady Eddie, let's just figure this out. And it was a ramp to something that who knew that was all going to happen.
Yep. Now I think some of the desperation has eased off because I've heard now for the last, I guess, almost year, there's a lot of agents leaving the industry. You're seeing that as well?
I am seeing it. I think sustainability in this. I can't quote NAR, but they're the average years in the business is under 5.
Yep.
So I've 6 times that.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. I'm happy, and I also blown the transactions. I'm not gloating, but we can do this, right? We're all doing more than 8 transactions a year.
So
We can do this.
I'm always seriously weirded about that number, right? I feel like there must be 20 or 30%, or let's call it even 50% of the agents out there that are okay with 2 or 3 transactions a year because it's a game. It's a hobby.
A lot of people think it's a
Right.
part-time gig.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
And it can be.
It can be.
It can be.
Especially if you're buying and selling your own properties. Like if you're a contractor, you just don't want to pay commission and have,
I do think we have that,
Yep.
and that's okay.
Yeah, but I think that skews the numbers quite a bit. I think that really
It does.
It's like city-owned properties are say you have multifamily.
Yeah,
from
data.
You did the homework. You did the
I
homework.
look at
came
data.
prepared.
Data tells a story.
Data tells a great story, but if 20% of your transactions are under 100K,
Right.
you're really pulling the top number down, right?
Well, yeah, and then you can say of the pending listings right now, our average sales price on the multifamily is $241. We also have 27 of those $300,000 to $400,000.
Yeah, and that's a good number.
That is a great
Yeah.
number. We also know that city of Schenectady we're down 45% in closed sales, but we're only up 5% in inventory. We don't have the inventory to sell.
That's
we can't
right.
sell something that's
Yeah,
not there.
If the shelves are bare, people. I mean,
But we're up 6% in the sales price.
but I think that's why like we're seeing such a boon for these fixer-uppers is because people who wouldn't normally consider a fixer-upper are pushed into a choice where they don't have choices.
No.
You talked about people will sell and people will buy. It's not always an option.
Right.
Sometimes you have to, right? And it could just be, it could be an emotional thing. It could be this is the year, or it absolutely could be I've lost a job, I have to move, divorce or new family, or I've got to move to take care of mom or dad. These aren't like choices; these are life happenings.
Right.
And so I think no matter what the market is, real estate will always persist in some form, and you can never smother it completely, and hopefully it never runs too wild.
No, and we need it.
And we need it.
Real estate feeds so many other businesses.
You're good. Was that a TikTok playing?
I was replaying the video that I recorded.
So
But-
watch Christine, get on Christine Serafini's feed and watch the video.
Watch her live.
And you can,
I got to
you
figure
can-
it out.
You can watch that video while watching this. I think that's the feedback. No, I love
It's
it.
just little clips. And I won't do it until you guys do it.
No,
No, you're good. You're good. Do as you please.
So that's something I don't put in my average day. Is I do not like. I don't like being in front. Even though we're in front of the camera now, I feel like this is a conversation. When it's just me or I record myself, I'm super hypercritical, and I'm never happy. So I'll do like stuff in the car where I'm just speaking and my mind is off what I'm doing. I don't actually like being in front of the camera.
I hate it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, me too.
I don't like it, but I know the message needs to be heard. And that's where I had to change my thoughts. And we do have agents in our office. They're like, how do I do my first video? I'm like, go outside and put sunglasses on. It's a filter.
Yeah.
There you go.
And just say something that you know and that you're confident, because you need confidence, right? You don't want to just say, if I could show you my first realtor or my first video, I mean, I was almost going to play it over the weekend. It is god awful.
I now want to see this.
I will. I promise
Yeah, now
I'll
you
show
gotta
you.
show
It
us.
is dark. I am in a model home of new construction. I have the shortest hair possible, and there was not one smile, and I was so serious. And I was like, "You are gonna like this house. This house is a really nice house."
House has
It was-
both a foundation, a floor, and a roof.
It was all, I think where video comes, where it becomes a positive thing, you feel confident about what you're sharing and telling.
Yep.
And buyers and sellers and the public want to hear it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if they keep hearing it from you, there's so many misconceptions.
There is.
The market, look, 45, this is exactly how it is. 45% closed sales are down in Schenectady. Oh my God, Schenectady's it's terrible. 45%, nobody's buying. Well, we've only had a 5% change in inventory. We have such a demand. You have to talk about one other report I brought, and I don't know if you guys look at this. I look at it, and I don't think Showing Time gives us an excellent report of what the buyer pool is out there right now. For any price range over the last 30 days, Showing Time will give you a report to tell you how many showings have been made at any price range in any school district,
Wow.
in any
Did not know
demographic.
Wait, how do you access that?
We can do another podcast.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to
I
toy
thought-
around with Shorty Time.
I thought I brought it.
That's-
I'll talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
I'm actually
that's
going to
fine.
be on the panel with Women's Council Realtors April 24th.
Okay.
I was asked to do that. It's like a summit, but
Yep,
it's
yep.
Women's Council. Showing Time gives you, you go into reports, and on the bottom, I just can't remember it. It's on the last one. You can go into Schenectady School District from 100,000 to 300,000. by $5,000 increments over the last 30 days. Tell me the number of showings in each
Oh,
bucket.
that's cool.
So
That's
it
important.
helps leverage you on a listing appointment. And you can tell them, Mr. Seller, we only have 4 homes on the market right now at $250,000 with 4 bedrooms. But do you know that there's 10 pending? And I look here, there were 67 showings based on the showing time report.
Yeah.
That's gold.
The demand is huge. And these are things that we need to share with the public.
Yeah, cool.
They need to understand, yes, we have no buy, and we don't want to scare the sellers. Your house is going to get 80 showings in 3 days. That scares them.
Yeah.
How are we going to handle it? We have a process. You have a process as a realtor. But I also know there's 63 other buyers waiting to see a house in this price range.
Yep.
And I have a process for that. And I have a multiple offer situation process. You have to make them feel good and that you're educated and you're professional and you can handle anything that comes to you because you do this full time and you're prepared for anything, again, that comes to you.
Yeah, when I take a lot of live calls because I like being put on the spot because I do have a depth of knowledge. And I don't mind answering stuff, but I
Absolutely.
don't always want to go up and like shake a hand and say let's talk. But also when it's coming in, I love it. I think depth of knowledge is very important, but a lot of what you just said was really exciting for me, Christine. Like I didn't, so I've seen the GCAR reports before. I did not know about the showing piece, but
And Flex MLS has them too. They're a little bit different because GCAR is like a month.
Yeah,
Right now we only have February.
So I can get the Flex MLS. That I find that to be way easier to grab. The GCAR is a little more difficult for me to navigate. I think I just do
A little
it
bit more
less.
searching.
I think I just do it less.
Yeah, you just gotta do. Yeah.
Right.
Just go to gcar.com,
and then
stats.
yeah. There you
By
go.
county, by city.
Yep.
You got like this is county right now. Our county, our closed sales are down 26%.
And that's over last year.
But
Is
our
that-
sales
is that it
price. This
year over
is
year?
this is year over year. Year to date. Year to date, our change in closed sales is 28%,
down. So I remember.
with only less than 1% of new listings.
I remember when we had this with Joe Krongle
Yes.
with us, and it showed year to date we were down like 47% year to date over 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a lack of inventory.
Yeah.
It's lack of inventory, but Mr. Seller, you have to understand prices have gone up 12%
Yeah. Yeah.
year to date.
We have a lot of hungry fish and not a lot of.
We
stuff
have
to
1
nibble
month
on.
of inventory. That's to say if everything sold in Schenectady
Yeah.
County, we'd have nothing.
So, question: how do you speak on the climate of today's market? Why is it? Why are we seeing this high demand, prices still going up, but low inventory at the moment?
Sellers they fear where they're going to go. They either have no mortgage or right now the baby boomers hold 30% or less of their mortgage notes or they don't have a mortgage at all.
Mhm.
If they have a mortgage, they're at 3%. Why would they go
So
to
why
7?
move? Yeah.
So I saw this on Realtor page. I may have talked about it last episode or episode before. The average time. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, I got comfortable. Sorry about that. So I saw that on the. God, you're the best, Jerry. Looking out for
That's
me,
why I'm
buddy.
here.
God, you're the best. So looking out for me. So on average, the average for a very long time would be the person in a house is 7 years, about 7 years, like 7.3, and then I think now it's something like in the 9s. But baby boomers are like 13 years, which is skewing our numbers. And I think it is hey, what do I do? I've been
They're
here
fearing
so
to
long.
be homeless.
I'm comfortable.
They
I'm
don't have an
happy.
exit plan yet.
And they're living longer too. So why move?
They're living longer and their house is paid off. But you could leverage that equity. You have all-time equity ever
Yeah,
right
you
now.
literally, if
And we don't know how sustainable that is, although we're seeing a nice because
Increase,
demand
yeah.
stays high.
Well, now it's more stable because it went woof, but now we haven't plateaued really.
As long as we have multiple offers, they're going to keep
now we're
getting that
gradual.
equity is going to be
But the gradual is, in my mind, an easement.
Yes.
It brings my mind to ease. Like if you, I don't like that. But if it goes up and then we have a much more steady plane, I'm like, okay, we reassess, we readjusted. This is the new normal, right? It always scares me when something drastic happens short term.
I think we're going to see a change over the next 12 months when rates are projected. I listen to economists. There's some from Washington that I listen to. They have Instagram channels. I can't remember his name, but I'll share it with you. He's national. And over the next 12 months, when rates go down, there's going to be even more buyers. And I think sellers are going to come off the fence.
Yeah.
I think they're going to come off the fence. I think what they think right now, sellers, rates are high, nobody's buying. That's why we have to get the message out there,
That's true.
especially in our area.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's talk to the public right now. Hey guys, let's sell your property. We've got the buyers. Let's sell
We,
it.
we definitely have the buyers, and I've never been more proud.
Yeah.
You know, 7-8 years ago, you know, my broker said, "Well, we just mastermind around Schenectady. Well, who sells Schenectady? I mean, look in a demographic where you want to be and see who's the top agent. What do you think they do? You know, try to learn their techniques because you could maybe learn the same things."
Mm-hmm.
And nobody was, and nobody wanted to be
Yeah.
back then, right? Nobody wanted to be. And I said, you know what? I'm going to grab this. I'm in PTO. We're in baseball. We're in this and that. And someone has to be.
Yeah. So I've been talking about the slightly out of town towns around here. You know, it's everyone's like Capital Region. You know, it's Troy to Schenectady. Maybe we'll cross a river into Scotia. I'm like, but if we're buying investments and we're shopping by the dollar, I mean, you like your data. I like data when it comes to investment property. We're picking up stuff that people would be drooling over if it was on this side of the river, right? And you mentioned who would want to be the mastermind, the queen bee, if you would, in these other towns, and I think it's just an awareness piece. I've got
awareness.
more now pending outside of Schenectady than in Schenectady, and I am. You know, I do 90% of my business here historically. Last 3 years has been 90% Schenectady, and I'm 50-50 outside of Schenectady.
You're competing with Christine now.
No,
I'm
no,
just playing.
No,
I'm just
hey,
playing.
there's enough business
I
for
am
every.
playing.
You know what? My referral business is very high.
Yep.
And you want that repeat referral business.
Yes.
Do the right thing. That first transaction, your first relationship, ask
Yeah.
for the referral. You know,
It's true.
if you don't have anybody buying or selling, I'd really appreciate it.
Yeah. But you got to ask for it too. You can always ask
You
for
have
it.
to ask.
Ooh, I'm glad you touched on that referral business. So how do you take it from providing a service in the beginning and then make it relationship based? What is Christine doing in her?
It doesn't
Every day.
end after the transaction.
Exactly.
It does not end. They're part of my database. I have a follow-up drip campaign. I send calendars every year, client appreciation parties, pies, wine events.
Ooh.
You engage in them. You do not want to be forgettable. So I am trying not to be forgettable. And then at the end of the day, if you are someone you know is looking to buy or sell, I would love if you thought about Christine Serafini. I'm here for them. That's just what it is. And it's the branding. You know, print advertising isn't out. I'm still doing the Gazette.
I get your EDM every door direct mailer. I see you once in a while.
I do the
Yeah.
EDDM. I'm not as consistent with that, but I want to be. That's becoming more tangible. People, you know, it's funny. People are like, "You're in the paper all the time." I'm like, I'm doing that once a month. But I love that they say that. I'm like, yeah, isn't it great?
So I feel like so I don't like texting too much because I feel like I want the personal connection with voice. If someone says, "Hey, do you want to play a video game?" I'd much rather play a board game because I want to see the people.
You want to see.
You know, and we could do
See,
that over
feel,
dinner.
touch.
We could do that over dinner. We could do that, you know, in a park. I want
That's
the
a great
personal
thing to teach
interaction.
your
Yeah, that's the
kids
most
too.
important
Yeah,
part.
but we spend so much time, you know, digging through numbers, looking at properties, marketing. I am almost always available if someone said, "Hey, you know, can we get together for 20 minutes and talk about real estate?" You know, we talked. You said you love real estate. Is that your hobby? If someone asks me what my hobby is, it's talking and thinking about real estate. I try to sneak games in there when possible.
Yeah.
But I don't. You know, you guys both mentioned the big game. I think
watch
you're
the
talking
game?
about the basketballs.
Basketball,
Yes.
the college
And the
basketball.
NCAA
Yeah,
Purdue,
national champions.
UConn.
Great.
Yeah.
That's just not my interest.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I like the investment side. What I tell my clients to do, I do. I'm like, hey, go buy a house. Let's fix it up.
That's
rent
what
it
you
top
do.
dollar. So what I
that's
tell
right.
my clients, that's my path. You know, it's just not like I'm telling one thing and doing something else. Be like, oh, I take all my commissions and I buy Bitcoin. Fools buying real estate. You know, so I'm in it too. So
Yeah.
and you said you're there after it. I have people call me up and say, hey, I need a roofer. I didn't think I need a roofer. We had a crazy windstorm. Here's my roofer number.
Yep. I have a list of preferred
Yeah.
providers. You're always being asked that. And
But-
also you learn who not to call and who
Yeah, yes.
And I don't mean that
That's
disrespectfully,
true,
but
though.
But you get one or two
Time is
chances.
of the
you
essence.
burn stuff, it's done. But I wish people called me more, because then people call me and say, hey, Dave, I'm in a bad situation. I'm sure you've had people call you, Christine, like, hey, I got a roofer. I didn't ask you first. Now my roof blew off. Now what do I do? Well, now it's a troublemaker, you know.
right.
So, you know, we're doing this every day. You know, let's encourage anyone out there to reach out to us.
Well, and that's exactly it. You want a professional. You want someone that does this every day,
Mm-hmm.
because every day brings you new scenarios, new dialogues, new situations that we have to mastermind around. We know we're not these doctors of whatever. We don't know everything. Doctors don't know everything.
And doctors' stuff changes every day too.
Doctors, yeah, exactly. So I just think the more we feed their need,
Yep.
we're going to be in a great position to be that public service professional. And I really hope that resonates this year, because there is a lot of banter and media around negative things that they really don't know. This is really not a big deal for them. I'm not saying the settlement isn't. Our wording is changing. We have a different way of presenting, but people are still going to want to buy and sell houses, and we have to make that doable for both sides.
Again, even if they don't want to.
Right.
There people have needs.
There's
to buy,
estates,
sell,
there's
and move.
divorces, there's
It's just
so many
impossible to avoid.
things.
You know, there's just no way to avoid that. People need a house. When people are done with the house or have to move, you know, and the way I understand the NAR settlement is, and it's very topical. I don't really want to get into it. I don't want to get into it. I'm not a
No.
professional.
No.
I'm not a lawyer talking about NAR, but you're still going to need the same players, and no one works for free. And you know, my worry is that someone will talk someone out of not getting a professional to protect their interests, and there will be sharks that are no longer held back because there's a lot of for sale by owners, and people are going to lose a ton of equity because they're afraid or they don't know, and it's just a lack of knowledge.
And they're going to
And we
lose an
bring-
audience.
But we bring not only our expertise, but we bring knowledge into how we represent our clients, and we
I agree.
defend them all day. And by saying I work with professionals, they're defending their interests and their bottom line.
Yeah. I mean, in summary, since we're all touching on it, NAR proposed that the standard 6% is no longer correct in essence.
Yeah, but I don't want to correct you, but we shouldn't talk commission
Okay.
either. We should not be. It's apples and oranges,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now an apple and orange isn't being paid by the same party,
Mm-hmm.
right? I think if you are a buyer or seller, I think you need to get both views and talk to two professionals. Don't just talk to one,
Mm-hmm.
and understand both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And take your decision and make it from there. And if you have questions, ask questions. If they don't have the answers, they need to go somewhere and get them.
Yeah.
You want the public to be as informed as they can and as comfortable as they can.
Correct. Yeah. Aside from the commission talk, I mean, it basically just weeds out the professionals versus the ones who are just doing it for fun.
Rise to the occasion,
You have
be the
to-
educator.
Exactly.
Be the service industry.
Exactly.
I totally agree. And if we do that, I think everyone will do better.
Yeah.
We need real estate. People buy and sell every day. There is
Yep.
a reason for it. It's not going away.
No.
It's not going away. And our job is to do the best for a seller to get the most amount of money, and our buyer is to do the best for our buyer
The opposite.
to do the opposite.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So that's a very difficult meeting of the minds that you're constantly trying to bring together.
Correct. I want to pivot and ask you a question in regards to what are some hurdles you're going through in 2024, aside from that conversation, but like in the industry, what are you seeing that you have to jump through the hoops?
Lack of inventory.
Okay.
Too many buyers. Working with too many buyers, having the conversations with sellers. You can't talk someone out of their house. You can't. It's America's dream, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that they worked hard for, and they own, most of them, baby boomers right now. They own it. It's theirs. They can't fathom going to purchase something else. But what they could do is take that all-time equity and put it down to bring it down to that 3% thought of an interest rate.
So you can't talk someone out of your house. I do the same thing. I do mainly buyer agency. I'd love to get more listings. I know what buyers are looking for, but the way my business is currently, I get a lot of buyers agents, and I don't talk buyers into a house. I say, go look at the house, I'm not going to talk about, this is big enough for your family's Thanksgiving dinner
No.
or your holiday. I'm like, the house is going to, you will tell me if you want the house, and I will tell you how to do it. But go look at it, ask me what you think about structure, design, or layout. Great. Black and white questions.
Right.
But I don't want to encourage a purchase, because if someone said, hey, I'll sign because, Dave loved it,
No.
and then 60 days
never
later,
happens,
I'm dragging them
We
to
have
a
to
closing.
take our emotion and our opinion out.
So I am very factual when it comes to houses. I'm like, hey, look, let's go look at the I love basements. I love attics. I like being down in the
bless you.
dirt. Well, that's where the money is.
Fire.
Yeah, that's where my money is, right?
I
Let's go
appreciate,
look
right.
at it.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the integrity
This is
of
why
our
we
home.
appreciate your
Look at
service.
that.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'd like
Yes.
to go on and on. But so I just let people in. I try. They ask me questions. I say, okay, I get it. This house meets your needs, but do you like it? That's a gut call.
Yeah.
I don't make that for people.
I think one other challenge this year for 2024, obviously because of the lack of inventory, challenging is pretty much all my buyers are in multiple offers.
Yeah, I'm
so
seeing
how
that too.
can I raise my level of service, my expertise, and how are we going to rally around putting our best foot forward without taking the buyer so uncomfortable with making whatever offer. At the end of the day, buyers determine the value.
Absolutely.
But it's about all the terms, what is going to get in front of the seller to choose me and not Joan Smith, their offer. So I think I love that. I love thinking out of the box.
yeah.
Oh, I love it. I don't win every time, and it's a lesson learned. And I always call the agent. I said, is there anything my buyer could have done differently? Or me as an agent, did I not present something? I always follow up with that agent because you know why? My buyer's like, well, was it higher? Did they waive inspections?
Yeah, exactly.
Did they do an escalation? And we can't give what the sales price is. And I always tell them that becomes public knowledge at closing. But what were we missing? What did I not do? Did we not raise the inspection threshold? You know what? My buyer didn't want to. Doesn't have that out-of-pocket money if something shows up. The other thing that's happening, I really feel I see a lot of deals falling through within attorney approval or being canceled. I think there is some buyers that are getting caught up in the thrill of winning the deal, not owning the house.
Yep.
So I think with all
break that down.
with all that multiple offer action, they want to get it so bad, and then we get an attorney approval, and they cancel, and they're like, oh, what did I just do?
Yeah.
I think they want to win. They want to be told, oh, their offer was chosen.
But let's talk
And
about
back
that.
out, right?
Yeah.
right
When it's
after.
an auction, when it turns into an auction with escalation clauses or so much competition, you win. No. You might have been the person to offer the most money. And if I was selling a car and 4 people kept overbidding, the real winner isn't the one that pays the most necessarily. Unless
No, it's not.
the seller, right? So I think the terminology kind of lends itself to paying the most might be the winner, right?
It's not.
But now one of the things I've seen, Christina, which is really aggravating for me, is I'm seeing listing agents say, look, we want the money at risk, so it's a hard earnest money, meaning you cancel, we keep it. My attorney does not allow that,
No.
right? Because we can't. What if my guy loses his job tomorrow?
We're not.
What if the girl has a death?
I
in the
don't want to
family
do that.
tomorrow?
I don't feel good
But
about
I
that.
have been asked that
Yeah.
multiple times in the last 30 days to waive inspections and have the earnest money go hard. I'm like, I can't do it. I wouldn't do it.
That we're not. That's not service to them.
That's not service to our
No.
buyers.
No, it's
And
not about the sale.
Yeah, it's.
It's about the sale, but it's not.
But I'm scared
the
I'm going to
best
see more of that, and I'm going to keep telling my clients, like, you can't control every aspect of your life.
It's not this one. There's going to be another one.
Yeah, there's another door that will open for you, and I don't want buyers to feel like they need a win, and then feel remorseful or something happens, and we've waived so much of their.
My
There's
last
protections.
2 multiple offers in the last 2 weeks on my 2 listings, the seller did not choose the highest offer.
Well, that's a
Now that's
breath
awesome.
of fresh air.
That is awesome to hear.
Did not.
Yeah.
Did
That's a
not.
breath of fresh air.
You know, without disclosing anything, it's not all about the price. You have mortgage commitment, you have inspection threshold, you have escalation, you have, and even that doesn't do anything. You have
Appraisal gap.
appraisal gap. You have closing time frame.
Yep. You name it.
Now let me ask you this: do you put the
You have an
appraisal-
agent that wrote an offer and didn't include all documents.
So do you put your appraisal gap coverage, your appraisal shortfall coverage in paragraph 8 will cover up to 10K, or do you write that?
No,
in
because I
email?
don't want my buyers.
Yeah. So I don't
My
want the bank to
advisement
see
and
it.
my service to them is
Yeah.
if they're willing, they tell me, but you would pay for something that a bank says it's not worth.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. But
And if they, yes, I want it. Now that has happened.
yeah.
And it's ultimately their decision.
Exactly.
So, would you put that on a contract, or would you put that in the email?
Oh, contract.
Contract.
See, I'm always
See,
worried.
that's
'cause
part
then
of
the
the,
bank may not feel like, because I know appraisers aren't supposed to get a copy of the contract, but they almost always do. They almost always come in at value. You know,
I'm getting a lot of calls from appraisers now, and they want to know the questions they're asking me. Did you have multiple offer? How many showings did you have? They want to know the demand.
Yeah.
And they're basing their ultimate decision, I think, they're adding the demand part.
Well, it makes sense though. Like if you can't appraise a house for a certain dollar amount, but there's one buyer for it, okay, that might be an outlier. But if you get the same dollar amount and there's 50 people willing to throw within $5,000 the same dollar amount out, the demand has proven the value.
That's why I'm saving those spreadsheets on my multiple offers.
I like that.
I'll send it to the appraiser.
Like,
Say, look at what we have.
Here's 42 reasons why this house is worth what it is.
I mean, it was $52,000 over list price.
Jesus.
One of the offers.
Yeah.
Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, man. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And does it sound great to a seller? Sure, but we need to look at all the
That's what I was
pieces of
gonna
the
say.
puzzle.
How did you feel? That's an intricate.
No, it just
Right there.
wasn't going to work. It just, we're not setting ourselves up for failure. We have to make the best informed decision with what we have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool.
With doing service to everybody. Everyone deserves the chance,
Mm-hmm.
right? But not necessarily. I do want the public and the buyers to know it's not always the highest price that wins.
Yeah.
It's the terms of the contract. Who are the parties to the contract?
Who's representing
Yeah.
that buyer? Sometimes that even helps.
Who's representing? What's the relationship? And I don't want to ever knock any realtor, but when you do send something in multiple offer, do your best game.
Mm-hmm.
Do your best. Send your best package.
Yeah.
Put it all in one package. I know this isn't training, but we all want to, we're all juggling all of this stuff and all this paperwork.
Sure.
The best package we can get, and if we have 16 of them,
and
Doesn't help.
And 3 don't have proof of funds, and someone says, "Hey,
we have
one day
6-month-old
I'll get it."
pre-approvals,
Yep.
that kind of thing. We all need to raise our level of service.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, and know your data. Data tells a story.
Yep. Cool.
Raise your game, know your data, and hustle hard like Christine. I mean, that's a great point to end on. Do you have anything else to say,
No,
David?
I think with this wrapped up really nicely. I think the whole, know the data, hire professional, just be ready and lean, and please, when you hire a professional, lean on their experience, lean on their expertise, lean on the person and their gut instinct. I go into a place, and I Christine, I know you do. Jerry, I know you do. You go in a place and you're like, my gut says we're way overpriced here.
Yeah.
Let's go find. But I like I like the tree in the backyard. Like, don't let that tree cost you $50,000.
Yeah, you need to know-
I'll buy you a tree. Like,
3 to 4 top
Yeah.
things that are most important to them when buying a home.
Yeah.
And if we don't see those, you have to remind them. Remember,
yep.
you said it needed that half bath. You weren't going to go with one bath.
Yeah, it needs to be Niskayuna schools or Schenectady schools or Albany schools, and you're 2 school districts over. It'd be like, you told me must-haves, and we're not even close to the ones.
And they're doing that because of lack of inventory. So they're conceding what they really want.
Yep.
Look at that.
But no, I want to end on trust your team. Pick the right team member. Trust your team. And
This was great.
Where can we find you, Christine?
Oh, ChristineSerafini.com. Christine Serafini, Miranda Real Estate Group, 518-514-8830. And always remember, Serafini sells homes.
There you go. Thank you.
Thank you,
You're
Christine.
welcome.